February is Heart Awareness Month, so today in the kitchen we're going to learn how to eat a heart-healthy diet. Joining me in the kitchen is Mid-State Medical Center Executive Chef George Szuba and Dr. Bill Farrell, a cardiologist. Gentlemen, welcome to Connecticut Style. It's nice to have you both here.
It's great to be here.
Thanks for having us.
Chef, I know you're going to make a healthy grilled salmon, correct?
Correct.
And while you get cooking, in the meantime, Doctor, you're going to run us through some healthy habits when it comes to heart-healthy eating.
Right.
But first, let's talk a little bit about Mid-State Medical Center. I know you're located in Meriden.
It's in Meriden. It's a 150-bed hospital. It's the newest hospital in the state of Connecticut. It's a wonderful community hospital. We offer our patients a wide variety of services. The great part about Mid-State is a really comfortable place for patients and families. It's all private rooms, easy to park, so you don't have to battle some of the inconveniences of the bigger medical centers.
Sure.
But we're proud to offer state-of-the-art care, and we're also very big into kind of doing community outreach things like being here today and
Sure.
talking to a wider audience.
Very good. All right, Chef, you have a little extra virgin olive oil, which I learned is part of a heart-healthy diet, in the pan.
Correct. Just a slight amount, whether you use Teflon or cast iron, and at home I do use cast iron. It heats evenly, it provides iron to your diet, and with Teflon, it's been said that some of the toxins come out of the
Sure.
Teflon and stuff. It does peel, and it could affect your health. With the salmon, I sprinkled it with a little fresh cracked black pepper, a little olive oil, and just a couple minutes on each side, and it should be all set.
Now, how do you know when the salmon's done?
Firm, lightly
okay.
firm. You don't want to overdo it too much because it'll dry out very fast. Salmon's very oily, which is good for the heart, but also too that disappears extremely fast. So a couple minutes on each side, and has a firm texture to it, feel to it. And if you need to, when you press on it, just slightly just layer off, and the salmon will be ready.
Very good. All right, you made a homemade vegetable broth, you mentioned.
Correct. We're having a whole wheat couscous
Okay.
with the salmon, and I made a homemade vegetable broth, just odds and ends of stuff, as your daily routine of cooking is. Just put it in the broth, a little bay leaf, some pepper, and just simmer it out. And that'll be the base for our whole wheat couscous with a little fresh ginger grated in for additional flavor.
Great. All right, Doctor, this would be a great example of eating healthy for your heart.
It really would be, Teresa. I love this recipe. When you look at kind of the nuts and bolts of it, it's couscous and salmon. And when we think about heart-healthy diets, we're trying to consider what is the protein content of that meal and what is the carbohydrate content of that meal. And there's good proteins and there's good carbohydrates and there's bad proteins and there's bad carbohydrates.
Sure.
So kind of learning what that is. Salmon is a wonderful example of a good protein because it is a little higher in cholesterol, and that's okay. And you'll notice Chef George has good portion size here, so you don't have to consume the entire fish. But it is very rich in the omega-3 fatty acids, which are natural anti-inflammatory type chemicals and can help with immune function as well. So it's a wonderful, slightly higher cholesterol protein, but it's loaded with the omega-3s. It's got selenium, which is an antioxidant, lots of B vitamins. It's a wonderful protein. Now, the whole wheat couscous is really, I think, what makes this especially heart healthy. One of the things we talk about with carbohydrates is the concept of fiber. When we process foods, we take the fiber out of it. Okay. So when we eat that white bread, it's consumed immediately and turned into sugar, and our bodies like to store that as fat,
right?
if we don't burn it right off. When you use whole wheat and you use more complex carbohydrates, it takes the body a while to digest that, and consequently the sugar levels don't spike. You don't get that big insulin rush and that kind of 2-hour crash when you eat the other kind of stuff.
So it's probably a good tip to stay away from the white bread, the white flours.
Think brown, think whole wheats. This is a great example of a whole wheat from semolina flour. And then pairing the carbohydrate with the protein slows down the digestion process.
Okay.
And by doing so, again, you're not getting that big glucose sugar rush into the bloodstream. The body isn't responding with high levels of insulin and storing it right away in your body as fat.
Got it. All right, Chef. What have you done now? I know that you put the couscous in there.
The couscous cooks extremely fast. It is a pasta, actually.
Okay.
It's the semolina flour that's rubbed together to create a pasta. But once you hit, it absorbs flavor very well too. So as soon as you get your broth or whatever liquid you have for your couscous, you add it, bring it back to a simmer, cover it. A minute and a half, 2 minutes later, it's ready to go.
It's fairly easy to make,
It's
isn't it?
very, very
Right?
simple to make, and it's very versatile as well.
Okay.
For the dressing, it's going to be a citrus vinaigrette, so I'm going to put a little minced shallot in here for flavor, mild onion garlic combination.
Okay.
And then I will put orange juice, lemon juice, and lime juice as the base for the dressing, and just a slight bit of olive oil for just a little bit.
That's great.
To make it
There's
to
no
make it
butter
to-
in this involved whatsoever.
None whatsoever. It's very light. It's a good summer dish,
Sure.
lunch item, but it's very quick.
We have about 45 seconds left, Doctor. I know there's something to be said about eating a colorful diet.
Absolutely. And if you look at the ingredients that Chef George has out here, it's just loaded with color. And when I look at a plate of food, the first thing my eye goes to, is it all brown or is there some color in here? And what color means to me is vitamins and antioxidants and good low caloric sources for those kinds of nutrients. And when you're eating color, you're not eating the other things, which are a lot of sugar, a lot of butter, a lot of salt. And I love what George is doing here by replacing the butter and salt with nice flavors like ginger and citrus and things like that, which really make it much more flavorful and certainly much more healthy.
Sure. Doctor, thank you so much for the tips. And Chef George, that looks wonderful. We're going to taste this at the end of the show.
A little of that.
And of course, I have the recipe
Little
over at
this.
WTNH.com. For more info, you can also log on to Midstate Medical Center. It's midstatemedical.com or call 203-694-8200. And you could also find a Midstate Medical doctor by calling 1-866-MMC-5678. There we go. All that information's right there on the screen. Gentlemen, we'll taste this at the end of the show. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we're going to give you a preview to Band Together for Alzheimer's. We'll be right back.
I woke up with the feeling right across the sky and turned it back again.